At a young age, when did you realize people's response to your singing and like getting preferential treatment for your ability to sing?
It was while going to Hayes Primary School when Ernest and I would jam every Thursday, because that's where the whole singing vibe started from. But people in my community got whiff of it, that tiny little boy can sing. So that's when I made up a little song called Roll Dumpling Roll. If you want to know dumpling sweet, dip it in a coconut oil. So people in my community used to ask me to sing that song, and I would get threepence, which was 3 pence at the time, or a penny and a half, which we call quatty, or penny halfpenny, something like that, 2 pence, whatever it was. But if you had a pound, 1 shilling at the time, it was considered money boy, because a shilling was a lot of money back then. So to get 3 pence or 3 pence was big deal. And I was getting 3 pences and 2 pences. And so going to school, with my friend them, we could have extra bull and extra sky juice and all of that, because we had a little extra money. And that could keep us, you know. But then when we got to Brentford Road, was where it all started. Looking back now, it would be like going to your university, and this is your first day in college. So now you meet all these professors who were the Scatterlights, with Jackie Me Too, and all those great musicians, and you were seeing all the big artists you were listening to on radio. They were there, and you're like in this dream world.
Hey, tell me, what did Coxon say when Ernest brought you as a young person to the studio?
Well, before even Mr. Dodd met me, the musicians had met me first. Because when I went there was this long queue. And there were people who came in from country, some overnight, some early morning for audition. And at the time it was BB Seaton from a group called the Gay Lads. Yes, he and Bob Andy and another brother called Tony Gregory. They were the ones doing the auditions every Sunday. Not on the same day I came, but like every Sunday it would be one of them doing the auditions. And you know, people would come in from country with banjos or anything they could find, a guitar, 3 strings, 2 string, whatever, but they were strumming their stuff. You know, they came there to show what they had and what they had to offer. Some got turned down, some was told to come back 3 months' time, some was told to come back 2 weeks' time. The ones that passed, you know, they would send them to wait over there and that kind of stuff. And if you were told to come back 2 weeks' time, you can rest assured that Sunday morning, 2 weeks later, those persons would be first in line. Determination, they never gave up, never gave up. And that's something I respected with Mr. Dodd, because he gave a lot of people opportunity, you know.
Seems like you had to get through a couple people.
So when Ernest and Peter, when we came there, it was all excitement, because everybody knew Ernest and Peter. They were stars now. Them have all the big tunes matching up the place. So it was all excitement. And Ernest soon said, little brother, I must say, yeah man, look Freddie, him can't sing, you know. Hey guys, sing make them here. So every opportunity me have to sing Roll Dumpling Roll. But the song I bust up the place and everybody excited, and this youth here, wow, him can't sing. Because Roll Dumpling Roll was never recorded by me, but I recorded it with my son Stephen and Tiger when Tiger was ill, because when Tiger got ill, he was staying at my house for a year. We were trying to help him recover. So, you know, it was just exciting. Every time I bust a tune, everybody dead with laugh, and them amazed by this little kid doing what he did. So immediately inside the studio, no child was allowed in any studio, even until today, because children makes noise. Studio, you have to be quiet. So I got the opportunity to be in the studio with all those great musicians. My aim was to stay quiet and learn everything I could. So when they took a break, like lunch break, there was a shop across the street from the studio. Everybody would link me, like a Freddie, go tell auntie, send a bun and a cheese and a beer, and take a drinks for yourself too. And I would run across the street, get that done, come back fast. So I became like that little gopher for them, and everybody really loved me like that, you know. Man would give me some money and say, look Freddie, go buy a pack of cigarettes for me and a beer, and take the change for yourself. Boom, I'm back in minutes. So everybody kind of liked that, you know, that I was able to do that for them. And so it became that situation. Everybody loved me. So I had the chance to be in the studio during recordings. But I was always very quiet because I wanted to learn everything that was happening. And it went on and on until it was my time to actually record. In 63,
How long of a period did it take for you to record?
a couple of months, I'd say about 4 months.
So where were you staying?
I was living with Ernest Wilson's aunt, in a place called McGregor Gully in Rollington Town. 4th Avenue, McGregor Gully, third house going down 4th Avenue. And that area is called McGregor Gully. And me named McGregor, I don't even know how it works.
Isn't that like a garrison?
It is. It was one of the tough neighborhoods back then.
I know you're kind of guarded because of your artist. So, but what was that transition like living in a garrison?
The transition it wasn't bad for me because then I never had a chance to run around with other kids to try and do stupid things. I was there with Ernest and Peter, so my whole goal and focus was studio and the music. That's what I came for. And Ernest wasn't the kind of person who was involved in anything outside of music either, so that was great for me. Our life was just getting to the studio every day, spend our day, get back home in the evening. Until one day Mr. Dodd asked Ernest, where was I staying? And Ernest explained to him where I was. And he said to Ernest, when you come in Monday, bring his stuff.
Oh, so that's how you ended up with Mr.
That's
Dodd.
how I ended up living at Mr. Dodd's house.
Were you interacting with Dodd a lot?
Yeah, because remember now I was in the studio. I was in the studio, so Mr. Dodd seen me every day. And I guess he was checking me out and thinking to himself, something, this little kid is talented, Because people could go back and listen to a lot of my younger songs on YouTube. If you go on YouTube and you type in Little Freddie, you'll see a bunch of songs with me, probably about 8, 9, thereabout. And listening back to them myself, I am amazed too. Like, yo, this youth here was talented from our baby, man. Which is really true still. I'm listening back to the stuff. So I think Mr. Dodd saw that in me when he asked Ernest to bring my stuff. And I ended up living at Mr. Dodd's house in Pembroke. And back then, Pembroke was an upscale neighborhood. It was the first time I was seeing like living room couches and carpet runner and proper dining table. Because where we come from in the country is what we call Wackland Dab house, where you use mud and stuff, and you use sticks to create the frame, and you use mud and stuff and dab that. Our kitchen was dirt. 3 big stone, the pot on there. My mom had a string that she put over the stove, so that's how I learned about smoked food from early. Because she would hang stuff up there and it got smoked, and we used to pop off pieces of it and thief that and eat and run off and stuff. But yeah, and we used to use the coconut bow, the bow of the coconut. That's where the coconut actually bear. When you take them off, there's a bow, looks like a broom sort of. And that's what we used to sweep. You know what I'm saying? Or we go cut a bunch of what we call what we call that thing? I don't remember, but it's a bush. We cut them by the bungle and we use that to sweep. Broomweed, we call it. Broomweed, yeah. So going to Kingston and living with Mr. Dodd was a different thing for me. Because like I say, it's the first time I start to experience a different life in terms of proper living, what I would consider proper living. And I lived there with Mr. Dodd, 3 daughters, Sandra, Carol, Tanya, and his son, his wife, Mrs. Dodd, who became a mother at one point. Because Mrs. Dodd is the woman who taught me table manners, how to use knife and fork, and don't keep your elbows on the table, all of that kind of stuff. She taught me those things. And Mr. Dodd was truly a father to me then. So I lived with them for quite a while until he ended up boarding me out with a Christian family and enrolled myself and Ernest in a school called St. Andrew Junior High on Agley Park Road, right next to Liquid Food Soda Factory. Back then, we went to that school for about 2 years. After a while, after 2 years, things started to fade out, and I guess the music took the better of us. And we ended up back at the studio every day, that kind of thing. Because to me, well, when I grew up and started to understand very well what was happening, this music thing is no joke. And to become one and to be successful, you have to pay attention to it. You can never have a second job and consider yourself a real musician or artist. I realize it's something that you have to dedicate your full and complete time doing. So we used to just every day hang at the studio. I can tell you what Mr. Dodd, the license plate on his Buick, he had a gray Buick back then. and the license plate number was AE231. That's how much I know that car. That's how much I waited on that car. And I'm traveling that car every single day. So, we became close, and I learned to respect Mr. Dodd so much.
Well, let me hear you say, man.